Thank you, Carlos. Now on to new developments in the fatal shooting of Trayvon Martin, the Florida teenager whose case has ignited nationwide outrage. Later today, the family will formally ask the U.S. Justice Department to review the conduct of the state's attorney who initially reviewed the case. According to reports, the prosecutor overruled the police department's efforts to file charges against the gunman, George Zimmerman. Also this morning, there are new doubts cast on Zimmerman's description of the deadly struggle. Audio experts have analyzed the 911 tapes and say the calls for help were coming from the teenager, not George Zimmerman. The Community Watch volunteer says the teen was brutally beating him, and he fired his gun only after neighbors ignored his desperate pleas for help. Now on to Sanford, Florida. Our George Howell is there. And George, as I said, the family has reached out to the Justice Department. What do they want?
Well, Carol, good morning. They are reaching out to the Justice Department to seek an investigation into whether the state attorney, Norm Wolfinger, had an inappropriate sort of interference with the investigator who handled this case, Chris Serino. They want to determine whether he somehow interfered with the case. So they say that they will file that request today, and the attorney says that he expects to hear back from the Department of Justice. But keep in mind, Carol, this is on top of the investigation that's already happening. The Department of Justice looking into this case, even looking into the police department to determine if there are problems with the way this police department works with the community, specifically the African-American community here in Sanford.
So, George, I just wanted to turn to the audio tapes for just a second. Experts are saying it was the teenager shouting out for help. Give us the latest on that.
That's a new report coming out from the Sentinel. And one thing, we also had those experts on Starting Point this morning. It's important to point out that that information cannot be determined with certainty. It's not 100% accurate. Keep in mind that George Zimmerman's family, his brother, his father, they believe that that's his voice on that tape. But these two audio experts, they listened to the audio from that 911 tape. They believe that it's Trayvon Martin's voice on the tape. Take a listen to what they had to say this morning on Starting Point.
We know that this is not an exact science here, but in your opinion, is there a chance here that this is not Zimmerman's voice?
There's a huge chance that this is not Zimmerman's voice. As a matter of fact, after 28 years of doing this, I would put my reputation on the line and say this is not George Zimmerman screaming.
And can you put a percentage on that?
Boy, that's a tough question. I'm going to say about 95.
So again, you can't determine with certainty, but audio experts, two at least, that we had on this morning and that were in the Orlando Sentinel, they believe that that was Trayvon Martin's voice on the audio. Carol.
George Howell reporting from Sanford, Florida this morning. Less than 10 minutes from now, we'll hear from a gun rights advocate who's forming a legal defense fund for George Zimmerman should he be charged. Christopher Kosman says he wants to protect gun owners' rights and defend Florida's Stand Your Ground law, and he says he's getting overwhelming public support.